Welcome back, everyone, to OpenLine. Fun night. We're doing a walk down memory lane, really, and we are talking with somebody who was instrumental in the development of Channel 5, Harold Crump, former general manager. He worked at this station from 1956 to 1981. He recently received an award from the Muscular Dystrophy Association because you remember all those MDA telethons. He was instrumental in spreading those to CBS stations across the country. But we want to talk now about Harold's life in broadcasting. You were general manager from 75 to 81, but you came to this station in 1956. You said to me on a break you helped design this station.
Yes.
You helped design the building we're in.
The building that we're in now, yes. When I came to the station, it was over on Fifth Avenue and right next door to the LAC Tower, Life and Casualty Tower that's there, and was on the first floor of that, and then we finally were able to. We did better and better, making more and more money, and to build this one here and come over here.
We were WLAC initially.
WLAC, that's right.
And then we changed to WTVF, but that's right. We over at the Life and Casualty building. And I'm
the one that changed it to WTVF because I thought that was really good. Television 5.
So you changed it to WTVF.
Mm-hmm.
And why did you do that?
Because I thought that would be a good way to promote it. Television 5.
TV 5. What got you into TV?
I guess what got me into TV, I was when I went to Ole Miss to college, and was ROTC there, and ended up as part of an experiment that obviously didn't work because they've never done it since then. But I ended up spending 2 years in the German occupation over in Bavaria, and just enjoyed that thoroughly, and came back and got a job in small town over in Arkansas, right across from Memphis, and reading their papers. There was an ad in there looking for salespeople for the station here, and the CBS affiliate here. And so I came over and talked to Tom Baker, who owned part of it at that point, and he ended up hiring me and telling me that if he hired me and trained me as a local salesman, that I had to promise him that I would stay here for at least 5 years. And so I said, sure, I'll do that. He said, okay, you're hired, and we'll start you in about a month. And I said, okay, fine.
And you certainly stayed for 5 years.
So I went back to the hotel, and I told my wife what he had said, and we both just laughed like hell because we knew nobody ever stayed anywhere more than 2 years. And here he wanted 5. But as it worked out, it worked out pretty well because I was there for 25 years.
25 years. I want to put up a picture from I think it's an editorial. You doing an editorial.
Yeah.
And it was the first television editorial. There you are.
Yeah.
The first television editorial in Nashville, and what is that, 1975, December 8th.
Yeah.
How did that, did you do a lot of editorials?
Yeah, I did. The picture that you have there was on the front page of the Tennessean newspaper here because they thought that was really something good because that's what they had been doing all these years, and they were glad that we were going to go forth and do it too. And I would do the editorial, and at the end of the editorial I would say, if anyone disagrees with this and would like to come on the air and express their views, you're welcome to do so, and it will be done. And we did have, not a lot of, but a number of people who came over the years and did that, and so it was just all good. Did
you get a lot of flack ever? Do you remember that was a difficult thing, or do you have good memories of that?
No, I have good memories of that. Also, funny thing maybe, when I first went to work as the training salesman at Channel 5, I had been told that the one thing that I had to do was go and buy a hat to wear. That everybody here wore hats that were in sales, and there were anybody's, and so I got a hat and all of that. And when I finally got promoted and became the sales manager after a number of years, went to New York, and I came back, and we went out. The owner would have lunch with all of us, with the salespeople, every day to find out how things were going, who they had talked to, and all of that, and give them advice. And I said, I have something to tell you about the hats. And I said, about hats? He said, oh, really, hats? I said, yeah. I said, when I got to New York, I noticed people were looking at me, pointing at me, and laughing. And finally, somebody came up to me and said, don't you know, nobody wears hats in New York anymore if they're in business. And so he said, oh, my God. And so we took off all our hats, and everybody else's hats down here came
That
up
was the
too.
new hats.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I want to put up another picture. A picture of you and Oprah.
Yes.
Because Oprah was here, right? Obviously, at Channel 5.
Oh, yeah.
And, all right, talk about the picture. Well, just talk about what you remember there. So here's Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah.
And there's your wife, Lee.
Yes.
And that's you right there.
Right.
Talk about what you remember about Oprah.
Well, she just was an unusual person who came in, and she was going she was a student at TSU, and she came in to see if she could get a job with no pay coming from us, just to sort of see what went on and how things worked downstairs here in the building. And so I was sort of entranced with her. I could already tell she had this real nice personality. And I said, sure, we'd do that. And a guy came in a few weeks later, moved into town, and his office was set up downstairs here. He had come in, he was a coach, and he was going to coach all of the singers around here, so that when they had interviews, they'd come off a lot better than they had been coming off. And so I said to her, you know, if you'll go to that and for 6 weeks take this course, you'll cut a video at the end of that showing what you have learned to do and so forth, and I'll look at it also with you, and then we'll see if there's anything else we want to do. So she said, sure, if you promise me that if you don't like it, that you'll leave me alone. And I said, yeah, absolutely, I promise. And so she did, and I did. And of course, I took one look at it, and I absolutely loved it. So I put her on the air as the co-news anchor on the weekend, 6 and 10, on a Saturday and Sundays. And when first weekend was over, I knew I had hit the jackpot already.
That's incredible.
She came through so strong and so quick.
And
so
that picture
I moved her then to Monday through Friday, 6 and 10, and we absolutely, in a month or so, we owned the news ratings here in Nashville locally. Yeah.
That picture is when you and Lee, your wife, went on her show, right?
Yes.
And she credited you with being her first boss in TV, which you were. So, wow, that's really cool. What's another picture here? I think we have a picture of this picture that's on the cover of this book, showing the live action cam. Yeah. Talk about this picture, and we'll put. Yeah. What about this picture?
Well, the gentleman in the middle there is Jack Harris, that I told you they came in when they bought the station from Life and Casualty, and we just got these. He became my other father. The fellow on the other side of him is Tom Irvin, and he was a very good guy. He was my best man when Lee and I got married, and unfortunately, and he was at the station for many, many years. But unfortunately, he became ill suddenly and died a few years ago. So he's gone.
And what about the technology there?
The technology.
That looks like an early live truck, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
We were always on the cutting edge of trying to be live and the technology.
Yeah.
Live action cam.
Yep.
Okay, great. Steve, before we go to break, I'm so glad you stuck around. And then, all right, so what do you think of all these pictures, Steve? I mean, isn't this great?
I think it's terrific. I mean, my business background, I'm on the other side of the camera, I guess, from Harold. I mean, I was an advertising guy, so I'd be placing advertising on your station for all the clients that I worked for, from Procter & Gamble to Ford and General Motors, etc. So I would always be enamored by the people at the stations that were building these businesses. I mean, you know, what Harold and folks like Harold did was amazing. I mean, it's bigger than the internet, because when they did it, they actually had to physically build something and buy a truck and put that satellite dish on the truck. It's fabulous. I'm enamored by his career.
We are going to take a break. Then we're going to come back. There are more pictures. Pictures of you with Charlton Heston. Pictures of you with all kinds of people. So we'll take a break and continue going down memory lane. Be back right after.
All right.